Oh, I got you guys. Those are my shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Yay. Oh, we love that part. Here's your host, the Shyzabox. Oh, it's the show starting? Oh, it must be. We heard our introduction. Oh, everybody loves us. Oh, thank you. Oh, everybody. Oh, wow. Oh, girl. Whoa, down, girl. Down. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. Hold your thoughts to yourself. Get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome nuns and all. That's right, priests, preachers, cardinals, rabbis, weirdos with beardos, Alcoholics Anonymous, whoever's hanging out, accidentally misclicked on that of what was presented before them, you know. However it goes, welcome nuns, welcome all. That's right, we have got a show for you today. That's right, no. Apologies, we've got a free show for you today. That's right, entirely different. We know we can't just offer you a show. No good in that. When it's free, though, that's when it is not as bad as paying for. Okay? But you got to keep in mind, obviously, with the show being free, you get what you pay for. Okay? Now, obviously, not every show out there can be terrific and great, okay? Now, that's right. And we know and accept that our place is never going to be at the very, very, very top, okay? That's why we did the smart thing, okay, and called Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, okay? Now, obviously, the show's going to always kind of suck, okay? But, you know, it's going to have the guarantee latent there with it, all right, that anything else you watch is going to be better, okay? That is our guarantee to you, okay? So whilst, obviously, we call Daryl Dixon dibs and to be the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, that's right, you're probably familiar with that of the show of Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon dibs afforded us the opportunity, all right, to utilize that of our lithic logic and understanding, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is all for philosophical entertainment, okay? We were able to utilize that of our lithic logic, lithic being that of bedrock, okay, foundation, rock itself, okay, a structure, all right, to be the best of the worst, okay? Now, like we said, everything else you watch is going to be better, okay, inherently just natively better. But whereupon, all right, is that foundation that sets that structure of what is acceptable crap, okay? That's where good old Shyzabox comes in. We bring the crap, and everything else you watch is better, okay? It's our guarantee to you. Oh ho, you seem like Magic Man. Not only are we Magic Man, we're Magic Philosopher Guy, okay? We do all sorts of magic works, like make things with our, you know, community on stream, okay? We've literally made games, gotten them up day of, okay? You can go to the IPFS site and check it out. We're one of those punk rock and roll philosophers, okay? We don't talk, we do. Good old Shyzabox is a little ahead of the game in his works and merits, okay? Now, because we're not under an NDA or work for some big company, that's right, we're able to give all of this stuff for free, okay? Now, free. The IPFS site is, you know, yeah, it's live, it's up and running. Go help yourself to any games, demos, theories, this, that, the other with which you would like to. But yes, hello and hi, Animal. We can call you Animal, right? Of course we can. Money. Obviously, as philosophers, maybe not good ones, obviously as philosophers, okay, we inherently feel the need to wear that of our thoughts, that of what we disseminate, our consciousness and everything of the sort, all right? We need to wear that on our sleeve, okay? Because we need to be open-minded to being audited the heck out of, okay? Now, that's why whenever we, as even under the guise of a cosmological philosopher or anything of that nature, okay, when we use more mathematical and scientific means and endeavors, we leave all of that open source and you can audit it and do that of which you will. When we make our scientific notebooks, our mathematical notebooks, our link in the descriptification, okay, you can go to Kaggle, you can go to our taxes one. We literally pull all of our math and data from, the national database and, numbers and this, that, the other. And we kind of found out, as we're not working for a big company, we're not under an NDA or anything like that, not only proven what inherently people already knew, okay, but mathematically we can prove the overpayment with which our, open source Kaggle does, okay? So you can go there and utilize that of all of it. We even, if you want to go to Bluesky or X, we even have posters that we made disseminating such. Now, it's going to be reverses, backwards, small, and you can't see it because our camera sucks. That's your fault. But if you go to Bluesky or X or anything like that, link mostly in the descriptification, you'll find, a poster that looks like this, okay, within which it's going to disseminate all of the information on the Kaggle notebook with which you may check for yourself, okay? Now, keep in mind, of course, this is all for philosophical entertainment, even though we have computational and mathematical, scientific, though not empirically validated, mathematically validated proofs, okay? Now, like we said, we might seem like a magic man, as you have specified and so said in the chat, Animal. We can call you Animal, right? Of course we can. A-Money. We might seem like a magical man, hey? But believe you me, we're just one philosopher, okay? A pretty good one, too. Well, every philosopher thinks they're good, but everyone inherently is their own philosopher, okay? That's right. Now, we have kind of maybe gone a step further than other philosophers and that of their claim and there too and things of that nature, okay? Yeah. Obviously, when we write that of our literary works and endeavors and when we do our, philosophical rants and ventures into that of the conscious thought of what is subjective to one in nature, utilizing that of our lithic logic and structural adherence to the observances thereof, okay? Keep in mind, this is all for philosophical entertainment. Coochie! Oh, sorry, Cocho. Yes, hello and hi. Boy, are we not good readers. My username's not Coochie? No. Sorry, Chocho. We don't read all too well sometimes, believe you me. And sometimes it makes the stream funnier, okay? Now, maybe at the guise and behest of some of the usernames that we butcher and with which we disseminate the vernacular reciting thereof, okay? But, we do apologize, okay? Excellent. All right. Cocho, we can call you Cocho, right? Of course we can. C-Money, we go way back, ones of chat ago. And we know each other well enough to know that, obviously, we owe that of not only those of who find themselves here on a regular basis, hi Mom, but those of, whom may have heard or, resonate with any of the earlier components or aspects of things that we've embarked on, undertaken, this, that, the other. We owe an apology, that's right. Now, it's something that must be said, must be done, must be entertained in that of the ether, all right? But we owe an apology, okay? But pertaining to our last stream, sorry about that. Excellent, good. Forgive and forget, right? Glad to see that we can all overlook any of our past misgivings. That's right, fantastic. Shyzabox can't make a mistake. What? Just remember, everything's fine. Excellent. What the hell is that, huh? All right, anyhow, as we were contemplating that of what, is inherently structured into the guise and dynamics of a typical Saturday morning, okay, that's right. We find ourselves in today's day and age, okay, subjectively thinking to ourselves, why don't we watch any cartoons on Saturday mornings anymore? And inherently, the reason is because we don't make the time to. Okay? And whilst we don't watch them on Saturday mornings necessarily per se, well, we get to watch them whenever else we want because modern technology, eh? Now, it used to be you would wake up early in the morning on a Saturday. This is for all the old boomer folks and old people and things of that nature. Sad lives they had. No TiVo at the time. What the fuck's TiVo? What? The TV recording apparatus that you would have to set up and go to the schedule and be like, I want to record this show. How did you just hit play, huh? They didn't have just hit play. They had buy this shit on DVD and then years later see it for $1 at a pawn shop or a thrift store or a Salvation Army or any of the like. It's probably the copy that you bought and fucking donated. Ah, son of a bitch, I'm gonna buy it again. Did you ever hear that story? Now we can't tell if it's true or not. You never know with the internet nowadays. But in the interest of more crap, that's right. Did you ever hear that story where the mom went through the house and was like, donate this, donate that, donate everything? That is where it's at. Okay? She went through and donated her kid's art project that they made sometime in school. And then the kid went to like a thrift store and like saw it and ended up buying it. So it was what they made in like 3rd grade. They called their mom out and they're like, oh, yeah, it's a good thing that it's a purchasable piece of art, you know, or whatever. Went along the lines of something like that. Doesn't matter. Point is that you never know what something's going to be valued at or valued therewith, all right, until you take it upon yourself to find the valuation thereof. What's that mean? I don't know. Who cares? It means what it means to who it means it to. That's right. Keep in mind, we can't sugarcoat that of all the Eastern philosophy idioms that we speak. As if we did, how would you bridge yourself to that of your own basis of foundational logic? That's right. We gotta play the part of the, in essence, societal neuron. Okay, that's right. See, Shyzabox, we work outside of the realms of stupid people. Okay, that's right. You might be saying, this show's stupid. Well, that's fine. Show can be stupid all you want. Shyzabox's lithic logic inherently reigns supreme. That's right. You might be saying bullshit. Well, that's fine. You go do your math and tell us that yours is better than ours. Ours is open source on our Kaggle notebooks. Have that your way. Knock yourself the fuck out. Okay? We don't hide behind our math. We don't hide behind our science. We leave it open source for that of whom to check and look over and do that of which they will, all right, to utilize and elicit the same results that we feel that we've gotten. Okay? Now, we like our math completely balanced to a 100% degree. Okay? We don't like remainders. We don't like leftovers. Okay? It's all stupid. Okay? That's why we don't utilize any thereof. In doing such, all right, you can remove some of the yokes and computational limitations, all right, that mankind has kind of thrust inherently as a yoke thereupon in front of themselves as that of a stumbling block, okay? Now, you might be saying, that's because mankind's stupid, right? Well, yes, that's why we don't utilize any of the components or aspects thereof. Many of the foundational logical elements that are in place, okay? Now, obviously, vernacular wishy-washy here or there, but when you are that of the vernacular master, you must entertain that of which vernacularly disseminates that of which is necessitated in that of the dissemination that thereof. That's right. You might be saying, holy shit, what the hell? Well, believe you me, keep in mind, this is all for philosophical entertainment, so you utilize and do that of which you will and that of which you do. Okay? Inherently, we can only do under the guise and assumption of that of which you understand and that of which you know and quantitatively can correlate with that there which, that of what you can do. That's a word salad. Cheers. Believe you me, we'd read that. We'd read that probably 4 times over. Now, obviously, in that of bridging the understanding and that thereof, okay, whence we consider ourselves that of a societal neuron, right? It's because we like to think of ourselves as one of those components that bridges the divide and the gap, right? Utilizing that of what we did not inherently invent or create because it already existed, and that of the ancients theoretically utilized that of therewith many a days past, okay? But that of lithic logic, okay, the layer foundational and structured reasoning and, abilities to deductively ascertain what is or what can be or what correlates to that of, okay? Then correlatively, all right, you can consider that of a societal neuron, all right, operating in the guise and parameters of trying to help speed along that of the exterior universe, okay? Now, obviously, with quantum entanglement and metaphysics being crazy, right? Good old Aristotle, he told us that. Well, he didn't really tell us that. You just, when one realizes and maybe ascertains that metaphysics indeed is crazy as hell, right, you realize that there are a lot of structural components and dynamics, all right, to the dissemination to that of what can, in essence, add to, embody that of the lithical foundation, that structural logic and truth, which will quantitatively find that of its route and trajectory and remain that of steadfast and adherent to that of, which is the truth. Crazy. Very. Or not so much. That's right. What the hell is this show? Huh? Now, as we have spoken before, we shall no longer handhold in that of what is Eastern philosophy's abridgment thereof with that of one's reasonable deductive means therewith, okay? It speeds up the universe a little bit, okay? Believe you me, okay? There are a lot of claimants with which one claims subjectively to understand, okay? With everyone being their own philosopher, right? With everyone being their own practitioner of that of their understanding and, I guess, transmutator of that of the information that they're given, okay? Everyone can form their own layered foundation and network of understanding, okay? However, if someone layers their foundational understanding on that of the basis of a lie versus one layering that of their foundational understanding on the lithical logic of that of truth, there's inherently a pretty massive difference, okay? That's why when we view that of any of our, I guess, reasonings, our actions, our vernacularisms, our rants, our tangents, our literary endeavors or works thereupon, okay? We remain steadfast and ironclad in that of which they, utilize in the dissemination of what we wish to disseminate. Okay? In transmutating God, all right, the conceptualization of what can, in essence, be transmutated, what can be manipulated, what can be changed, what can be observed, what can be interacted with, all right? We remain steadfast, okay, whether you theologically diverge from that of a heathen or a, worshiper of the Antichrist, okay, whatever, okay, or you are the most devout practitioner of any insert head of whatever religion you wish thereupon. Okay? The necessitation, right, to have a layer of lithical understanding and logic, okay, with which one can act, with which one can stand upon the thresholds thereof, and logically state and say, this is a vantage point from which everyone should inherently maybe start looking down from, okay? As a societal neuron, okay, when you venture to be a theological philosopher, a cosmological philosopher, in that of name only, because we do not chase that of a piece of paper that would logically cost us in upwards of $1 million to, get. Absurd. Okay? We need not practice that thereof with that therewith. It's all for philosophical entertainment either way. Diogenes didn't have a doctorate. Plato didn't have one either. Okay? Now, believe you me, they might have both sought a doctor at some time. There's a difference. There's a place and a point and a practice for everything. Okay? In transmutational God, transmutating God, all right, the transmutational components, all right, with which one can endeavor to work therewith, all right, based on the foundation of their logical understanding, all right, is able to correlate as a entire entity, as an entire group, as an entire collective agency, okay, in a working swarm-like manner, okay? That of the foundational betterment thereof, society as a whole, okay? When we attempt to abridge a divide in that of logic and understanding between that of different cultures, that of different religions, that of different sects and principalities, all right, of inherently very, very diverse faith and belief, okay? It's not something you can do willy-nilly and right off the cuff. You're going to piss a lot of people off, okay? It's going to inherently happen. When you even write something like transmutating God, such as we did, and things of that nature, all right, people, we got phone calls merely pertaining to the title itself, okay? You can't put any component of God into something and not face that of ridicule nowadays, okay? Same thing with Jesus or anything of the sort, okay? You can't say anything with Muhammad, Allah, or anything of the like as well, okay? Inherently, whether you're talking about Moroni or whether you're talking about Moses, another reference, okay? Everyone's going to follow that of their own inherent beliefs to that of which they will. Foundationally, the logical understanding then needs to be collectivized, and that's where us as a societal neuron comes into play, okay? Because good old Shyzabox loves that of all, right? That's right. Theologically, we love that of religion, okay? That of our beliefs, that of our structured inherent understanding, that of what we have practiced and afforded our lives thereto for the part of our lives with which we have practiced and afforded that of our lives to, okay? Inherently, just because we have that of our views and beliefs, okay, they are going to be subjected to us. They are going to be subjective to us, okay? When one practices that of another faith, another religion, that of another belief system, inherently, they are going to subject that of themselves to that as well. Not only that, but there is a correlation between that of with which one wishes to expand that of their understanding, that of their wisdom, that of their knowledge, to that of who will listen to and or understand that of what they try and disseminate to therewith, okay? Doesn't matter if they do it successfully or non-successfully, okay? There's a collectivization that happens amongst birds of a feather that flock together, okay? So when you have these religious structures that inherently, start putting together everything that is subjective to that of themselves and that of their practices and belief systems and things of that nature, all right, their collective agencies follow suit and, follow that therewith as well. There's nothing wrong with any component or any aspect of any of that, okay? Well, wherein, then, lies the bridge and the gap and the divide with which we keep seeing the stories and the, kind of atrocities and the Joeyisms, that's right, if it's from Joey, it's a Noe, right? All right, all of these foundational understandings and practices of that therewith, people disseminate that of what they say they live and learn and love and preach and things of that nature. Where within do they lie? Because we sure as hell don't see them, okay? We see entities that are vying for that of not only finances, but that of what they would deem or construe as that of power, okay? Well, sure. Hey, that of the seeking of the gold and the silver, okay? Now, good luck buying your way into the heavens with that, right? Now, Probably goes pretty far, you know, I don't know. Oh, what, you can't bribe St. Peter? Can't be like, hey, got some gold down on Earth with my rotting corpse. Maybe take some of that, let me in to see the big guy. I don't think it works that way, theoretically, metaphysically, or anything with that therewith. Okay? Now, when we see under the guise of chasing that therewith, all right, an inability to increase that of what one would deem as that of their charities and things of that nature, okay? Well, you see these big entities and collective agencies and stuff operating under the guise and capacity of that of wishful thinking and endeavors and things of that nature, and we wish not to say that many of them do not do any kind of applicable good in that of their processes, okay? But when we correlate that of big agencies, big companies, big corporations, big entities, okay? They don't even have to be under the guise of non-volunteer, okay? They can be volunteer companies, okay? The Red Cross, the Foundation of XYZ, okay? We pick not on any of them, all right? But inherently, there are those with which chase that of the silver and the gold, that's right, and adhere not to that of the practices of charity with which they claim to disseminate their wit, okay? So wherein, then, is the foundation and the bedrock reasoning, because we keep seeing that of that which is said to be being done, not being done, okay? Now, as an outside observer, as one who is not actively participating, such as ourselves, in that of the projects therewith, okay? Well, that's right. We must be forthcoming with which. How may we address and or be a solution to a problem with which we have not touched and or laid our hands on? Very hard to do. But within which realm or reasoning can we transmutate that of the idea or thought along the lines of common sense with Thomas Paine or something of that nature, all right, and be able to correlate that of a vernacular usage therewith to disseminate that of how it can be done better. These entities, these organizations claim to do, yet we see it not done, okay? At what point is that unacceptable for that of the rest of society? Okay? Those of whom do not have the abilities to go and lay hands on the foundations themselves, okay, well, how can that of which the donors and sponsors who donate and sponsor to these big organizations, how may they go lay their hands on the product and do that of which, and also maintain that of their abilities to donate and sponsor that of which they do? They cannot donate it and run it at the same time. Okay? We can run our mouth off because we're not under an NDA or work for any big company. Okay? We can correlatively do analytical thinking and things of that nature and not risk inherently getting ourselves in trouble. Okay? We don't have HR breathing down our neck being like, hey, you should lay off these agencies that are claiming to do good and they're really doing bullshit. Okay? But hey, look at their CEO's bonuses. You know, wow, really good. They went on 3 vacations this year. Oh, wow. Good for them. We don't have a roof. That's your own fault. Fair enough. We weren't bitching. You know, that much, okay? Point is that inherently there's many claimants to be done, all right, with that of the works of charity, that of the works of goodness, that of the works of greatness, that of the works of the guise of being foundationally structured to be that of which it is, okay? We see it not. Okay? Now, obviously, like we said, we don't lay hands on it. We don't go to the soup kitchens or the food drives, and we do not lead that of the collectivizations, okay, to inherently, you know, round up and remove the homeless. Right? Where are you removing them to? They're people too. Well, obviously. The point is that the addressing there of the problem we inherently recognize we are not first and foremost first in line to volunteer to that thereof, okay, and help out that therewith, okay? Now, doesn't mean that there's a lack of care or concern on the means of anyone with whom is a donor to these active, you know, organizations with which do, all right? But inherently there's a foundational structure that is supposed to be embedded and in place with which that of the tax dollars, that of the, pains to that thereof, the societal entities that be in charge, with which they're supposed to do things with this, right? You see these overblown budgets, you see these over-collected taxes and fees, you see these cities with which fine for things like parking. You have meter maids, you have such an inflated administrative cost to everything, and we mathematically prove it on Kaggle. Okay? It's open source. It's mathematically proven the overpayment that they're with. Okay? Yeah, it's not a joke. Audit the hell out of our math. It's open source. We literally made posters. It's reverses backwards, okay? But you can go to our Bluesky or that of our X, go comb it for wherever the poster is, okay? We literally have, all right, the poster for all of the information, okay? It comes directly from the national databases and everything like that. Put in your local municipalities in our working model with which we give for free. See how much you really overpay. We don't see the good that comes of any of this over-collectivization of that of our merits or workings there too, even on a non-participatory level. So wherein can we act as a societal neuron, okay, to inject a pulse and kickstart the shit out of maybe a collective awakening within that of a inherent swarm-like understanding. Okay? Now, you may say that that of our lithic logic may reign supreme in that of just being a foundational structure to stand there upon. Okay? You'd be correct, okay? As it is correct inherently, theoretically. It's what that of the ancients utilized and used back in the day. Okay? By back in the day, we mean past our writings of transmutating God, the new non-native species on mankind's origin, okay? We got the timeline wrong. Not we in our book, okay, because we don't lay out a specific timeline. Humanity. We got it so wrong, okay, that inherently we have been adherent to that of stumbling blocks in our way that we have thrust as yokes upon that of our own necks. The degree of absurdity is so absurd to such a degree that you wouldn't believe how absurd that degree there is. It's a pretty good word salad. It's because we are that of the vernacular master. When we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being best of the worst internet celebrity there is, we knew that it would come with, many requirement and things that necessitated that of the understanding of that of therewith. Okay? That's right. Anyone can be an internet celebrity. Okay? We knew we would never be a great one, okay? Now, as great as you let us be, inherently, we knew there was only one way for us to weasel our way into internet stardom, okay? And that was utilizing the practices of a little show you might be familiar with called The Walking Dead. Okay, that's right. You've probably seen an episode or two where they get caught at the end of the season before they escape the beginning of the next. It doesn't matter. While dibs has always been around, right, it's in our utilization and knowing that when we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, we would weasel our way right into that lithical bedrock foundation and be able to disseminate that of what we feel we probably should, okay? Now, that of anything we say is obviously subjective. Obviously. Everything here is for that of philosophical entertainment, and that of which you wish to do and or utilize therewith any component or aspect thereof that you understand and or collectively interpret there to be, okay, under the guise of your own subjective understandings. Within which, between us, lies the inherent natures, then, for us to begin to kickstart that of the components and thresholds of society for us to all thence become that of a massive societal neuron to elicit that of the changes needed that are necessitated to do that of which inherently is said to be being done, yet there is a lack of ability with which to reasonably ascertain that that of which is being so. we don't see it. We see more problems, okay? They say solution, they say answer, they say collect gold, collect silver, and we see nothing. Where's your 30 pieces? Because apparently that seems to be about the amount that may be being collected in order to turn a blind eye. What's that monorail shit out in California? What's going on with taxes and money there? What's going on with all these agencies that are collecting all these tax dollars for things like child care centers and things of that nature? Within which between us is the final straw and foundational limitation of understanding of idiocracy that under the guise of thence necessitating that of a complete inherent structural upheaval and that of the, let's say, not physical, okay, but the metaphysical, okay, the non-tangible components thereof, okay, within whence does that of common sense dictate that of its resurfacing, okay? Within whence does Thomas Paine's grave that was robbed of its bones, why would you laugh at that, Internet, you sick individuals? Within whence does Thomas Paine's bones resurface their bonies and turn themselves over and say you have lost all sense of common sense, okay? Believe you me, it's probably already happened, okay? If one ventures into that of reincarnation, he's probably already come and gone like 14 times and he keeps just fucking bowing out gracefully. Saying, holy shit, lost cause, what's going on here, okay? Well, I mean, hell, you've seen the results. Look how much we're all overpaying in taxes, and look what's not getting done, and likely what is very, very contrary to that thereof, which is, okay, not a joke. Audit our math. We hide not behind it. We offer it that freely, and that of the notebooks which are open for you to do that of which you will. Okay? We don't hide behind the math. We don't hide behind the science. It's all open source. Go audit the shit out of it. That's right. Within whence, then, can collectively, all right, a societal neuron, all right, restart itself? Within whence can Thomas Paine's bones roll over in their being robbed thereof from wherever they lie, okay, and say that society has lost all common sense and their afforded nature to the seeking therewith, okay? Because believe you me, if such a time is warranted, okay, then let us be that of the societal neuron, and let us elicit that of said change. Because there are some things that, just like we said inherently, whilst not even necessitating being on the front lines to understand to the degree they're not being done, that just inherently are not, okay? And believe you me, there are entities, companies, and people that may be that are in powers, positions, authorities, okay, that don't want funds going another direction or place. Theoretically. Obviously. All for philosophical entertainment, right? Granted, our philosophy inherently lies very, very much on structured reality and foundational truth. After all, that of Shyzalosophy is that of a living practice, is it not? Therefore, when one chooses to practice that of their own philosophy, should they buy into and or ascribe to that of Shyzalosophy, right? It's merely in that the understanding that is a living seeking of that of truth symbiotically with anyone else who wishes to pursue that therewith, okay? Inherently, hello and hi! Inherently, everyone can have their own structural foundation of philosophical understanding and knowledge, okay? Everyone does. Everyone utilizes it. Everyone practices it the same. They practice that of their own ability to be a historian, a psychologist, or that of just a being. Okay? You need not have obtained a certain degree of understanding, okay, to whether it's a detriment of society or a benefit. You do not need to have ascertained a certain level or degree of anything to exist, okay? Now, you might say some people don't have the right. But, with which between us, we reserve that judgment for that of the, I don't know, Jesus. Let them take care of that on the other side. And it's not for good old Shyzabox to do. Okay? What good old Shyzabox can do, all right, is begin to elicit that of the, impulse of, kind of neuron component of a societal degree that thereof, all right, that would work collectively towards the changing of that which could be changed for that of the better. Okay? How can we bitch and gripe without offering that a solution, even from an outside ability? Okay? Because of our ability to reasonably say that we feel to a certain degree, we're comfortable speaking, okay, at the behest and guise of that of stupid. It's because, believe you me, we once were, believe it or not. Why don't you celebrate that? Everyone may pursue and seek that of their own personal enlightenment and seek to find that of which they strive to seek and obtain. When we correlate, all right, thusly, the degree of, we don't want to say authority, okay? Because everyone is an authority. Everyone gets to be their own authority. Everyone gets to be their own being, okay? It's not good old Shyzabox's place to be neither, beholden to that of yourself, nor thee to be beholden to that of us, okay? Ever. There's only one power and entity that, we necessitate that of our understanding to be, beholden thereto, okay? That is the, whether you want to vernacularly correlate it, okay, to that of God, that of Ein Sof, that of the eternal, okay, that of the everlasting, okay, that of the true, okay. Irregardless, my name is Lucifer. Please take my hand. Well, hello, Lucifer. You may touch us through the internet, okay? Well, everyone needs a hand sometimes. Now, granted, Lucifer, we don't know where you've been. You can be disgusting, okay? But, yes, we will offer a hand to anyone who wishes with to have it, but believe you me, we sanitize after. Because it was one point in time where we ourselves needed a hand. That's right. Now you might be saying, when did you need a hand, right? Well, granted, we don't have a roof yet, but that's because the hand that we were given, Bob lost, okay? Thanks for helping us build the studio, Bob. We'll finish it later, okay? Bob literally lost his hand in doing such. Now, Lucifer, we can call you Lucifer, right? Nah, of course we can. L Money. So L Money, there comes a time when you might want a hand, and that's because we offer symbiotic usage therewith, okay? Now, Lucifer, we know that you like to get in bed with Joey a little bit, okay? Now, believe you me, we have a strong enough spirit within that of our will and disseminational techniques that of being that of the best of the worst internet celebrity there is. Daryl Dixon Dibs, we called it, okay? That's right. We'll take your hand, Lucifer, and our spirit is strong enough that we can lift thee up out of whatever boredom you're in. You can mess with us in the chat all you want. That's right. Because believe you me, we do all sorts of things to try and grow that of our outreach. Okay? We understand we're not on the front lines of soup kitchens trying to feed the, hungry and things of that nature, okay? Well, sure. Okay? But we pay taxes and donate money to them. Okay? People volunteer in different ways. Okay? We volunteer some money in that component and aspect. Okay? But it's when that problem is not contended with and dealt with irregularly that it seems to have a problem and issue in itself. Okay? That's right. Some Joey stuff going on. So when we try and grow that of our outreach, that of our abilities to disseminate that of what is one's understanding, okay? then a lot of times we need to correlate that of the techniques and practices that are utilized on a regular basis and that of just society as a whole, okay? Now, believe you me, when we have meetings in our marketing teams and things of that nature, and we end up coming up with ideas of how to spend the ones of dollars we get, it's like, fix the ceiling, get a roof, right? No, they don't want us to have one. No ceiling for us. But, believe you me, if it rains, it only pours. You should get a ceiling. Anyhow, point is that we utilize that of the growth and the techniques and methodologies that other, businesses and practitioners have used for quite some time, okay? So, obviously, our marketing team came up with the brilliant idea, invest in that which works, okay? What gets businesses business, okay? Wacky waving inflatable flailing arm guy, obviously. So, we have one. Obviously, how else are we going to get ones of subscribifications and the up of the votes? Okay? You can't get it if you don't get people clicking off the internet highway, all right, into that of the live stream channel, okay? It doesn't work that way. It can't happen. So our marketing team, and they're geniuses, believe you me, because it's us. It's a team of one. Huh? What? Nah, don't worry about it. One must always remember, okay, that regardless of how they might construe, how anything might be going here where you don't have a roof, a ceiling, or anything, doesn't matter. Because remember, everything's fine. Excellent. All right. What was that, huh? All right, so anyhow, where were we? What is it, Saturday? Yes. What's today? Societal Neuron. That's right. So, good old Shyzabox, okay, and our disseminations therewith, not in that of our literary endeavors, okay, on Amazon of the .com and Kindle of the Unlimited, okay, but we take note in our official live stream note-taking journal, okay, with which one can acquire a means to record that of what's important to them, okay. Now, you might be asking if you need to use this official live stream note-taking journal to just watch this live stream to take notes, okay? No, you don't have to. You can use this live stream officially endorsed version to take notes on any live stream that may be watched or viewed, okay? You watch whatever you want, doesn't matter, okay? But, how are you going to take notes on it if those good live streams, okay, now we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being best of the worst, okay? How are those good live streams going to know you were there if you don't take notes on all the greatness they offer, okay? So we have to offer literally an officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal for you to record that of whichever live stream you choose to watch. Doesn't even have to be ours, okay? Anything like that. But you need to have an officially endorsed version, or else, it's just blank pages, okay? Which technically, yes, it is anyway, but the officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal is way, way, way more official than just a blank piece of paper. I mean, if it doesn't say officially endorsed on it, is it? No, it's not. It's not at all. What the hell is this show? What? So remember, everything's fine. That's right. What? Huh? What was that? All right. So anyhow, as we were sitting back thinking to ourselves, it's Saturday, okay? That's right. We know that yesterday being Friday was payday for someone. Obviously, they probably told everyone at work they were going to meet him at the club, at the bar, or anything like that, and they probably bailed out and didn't even show up, okay? That's right. So therefore, everyone else spent like 50, 60 bucks and dropped it on a tab, right? And your buddies got out of it, okay? That's right. Okay? So obviously, we're all pissed off now, okay? That's right. We can sit here all day and, talk about how to get back at them, but, we don't want to get back at anyone because everyone's our friend, right? We love everybody. But let's be honest, they owe you, they owe us, right? one way, shape, or form. Doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it goes to a bar or a business they said they'd be at last night, didn't show up at, or whether they, get forwarded a link from that of yourself to that of our literary works like Pickled Punk Philosophy, and tell them that they have to buy a copy and send you the receipt showing that they went to Amazon.com doing such, or else they can't be your friend anymore. Right? I mean, don't say that, okay? This is all for philosophical entertainment. Don't correlate that of, doings with that of what you wish to embark upon. It's subjective. Must do everything on your own accord, okay? Everyone's their own historian, everyone's their own philosopher. Pickled Punk Philosophy, soaked in brine. So that's why you send them the link to that and say, hey, you got to buy this philosophy book because you stood us up, okay? Obviously. Now, you might be saying, why does it get to be one of your books, huh? What? Huh? We can sit here all day and talk about where the money goes to at the end, okay? Point is,
you've got mail.
Tonight, okay? That being the case, okay, don't worry about it being our link that we forward to people to buy our book for, I don't know, $6, $7. I don't even know if they buy the digital copy. Who cares? You just tell them, don't worry about it, okay? But don't worry about the plan, because everything's fine. That's right. What? Huh? Yeah. No, yeah. Forward them the link. Yeah, Pickle Punk Philosophy. Oh, well, yeah, we wrote that. Yeah. Uh-huh. What are you talking about? No, it doesn't matter, okay? What is it? Saturday, right? All right, so being a societal neuron, okay, and injecting that of change in the dynamics or principalities that there are or which exist, inherently become intertwined, all right, in that of what is, okay? So when we joke around and, tell people, forward a link to someone to go buy one of our books or things like that, okay, inherently, we don't want to make them think that we're just clowning around here, okay? That we, just merely take it upon ourselves to do that of which to elicit a reaction. Prop comedy's absurd, and it only worked in the 90s, believe you me. And if you want to get that negative energy out of the air, out of anything like that, there's only one way to do it, and that's adhering to that of 90s practices and things of that nature, okay? Now, you might be saying, what do this guy know about the 90s, right? Well, believe you me, we lived through them. And did stuff, too. That's right. So anyone that knows 90s practices that bled over into the early 2000s, okay, knows there's only one way to cleanse the air of negative energies and things of that nature, right? That's right. Without further ado, we're going to do that now. Get rid of all the joeys, the negative energy. That was 2. It takes 3. Everyone knows this. Excellent. All right. All of the negative energy is gone. So, point is, so as we venture into having that negative energy now collectivized here in front and center, okay, we don't want to be mean and via the power of the internet just give it to you again, okay? To be honest, it's not nice. So, we'll take it upon ourselves to just get rid of it. All right, there you go. Nice and gone, okay? And your domicile safe. Oh, wait, it's coming back. See, you're here. Excellent. Good. That guy's house. That's more funny than you know. We like to keep the energy clean and positive around here. That's right. You might be saying, we wish you didn't. Huh? No. Don't worry about that. But we can't send people on a wild book chase, okay? We can't say, hey, your buddy stood you up at the bar, the restaurant, whatever, regardless of it being after payday. No. good old Shyzabox needs to give you a solid one back, okay? We need to let you know what exactly you're sending them to get, okay? That's right. Without further ado, we'll do a reading from Pickled Punk Philosophy, okay? That's right. Free of charge, of course. We wouldn't charge you for it. Send the link to your buddy. Make them buy it. Charge them. That's right. You get it for free. We all get it for free. Some people don't. What are you talking about? Huh? What? Everything's fine. What? Oh, a reading. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Now, this reading from Pickled Punk Philosophy, okay, soaked in brine, not literally, metaphysically, metaphorically, philosophically. That's right. At the least, we are always open-minded to discourse and conversation, chats, and good tunes. That's right. Read us more for free. What? Well, if we must, thence we must. Without further ado, may your next show be one of complete epic greatness. Like that time that we opened for Black Flag and the Queers. Pickled Punk Philosophy. You didn't think there was references to punk rockness and Pickled Punk Philosophy, did you? Lo and behold, it's got it all. That's right. Pickled Punk Philosophy, okay, and even those little quotes that we just read from it, all right? You wouldn't think that it would be as in-depth with one that opened for Black Flag or opened for the Queers or anything like that. You would think inherently Pickled Punk Philosophy would just resound in that of the philosophical entertainment with which that of this show is. Okay? No, this show is always going to be free, never behind a paywall. Ever. The only conscious thought for dissemination, all right, is that of the literary endeavors and means that we try and make a buck to eat a sandwich with. Okay? Money's all a construct. We're punk rockers. We need not, strive to get anything above what we need inherently for that of our daily bread, okay? Anything else is just excess and should go to charity anyway, right? Now, obviously, the human side and the components and aspects of yielding that of chasing the gold and silver and pertains to many. It does not to that of us. We don't chase the subscribifications. We don't chase that of the, memberships, that of the, this, that, the other. I mean, hell, the channel has made less than $10 in any donations for over the period of 10 years, okay? 10 years plus, okay? Now, there have been a couple literary books that Shyzabox, good old we've sold, okay? And man, you're looking, what? Our literary sales last month were 11 cents, okay? That wasn't a joke. Remember, we get 0.04 cents for every page read on Kindle Unlimited. That equals ones of cents, okay? We don't chase that of the construct of money, all right, because it's going to only facilitate that of our desire to chase it probably more, okay? The punk rock nature and component and aspect leaves us knowing that we desire and want for naught, okay? Therefore, anything in excess of that of our basic needs and things of that nature is that of unnecessary and unneeded, okay? Again, this is all for philosophical entertainment, right? Once one says, get a better camera, get a better microphone, get a working script. The show is free and you get what you pay for, right? If one wishes to go to the IPFS site and not have to download a, extension to be able to access that on an easier foundational basis or anything like that, okay, well, the necessitation to facilitate, all right, a symbiotic interaction therewith, for us to be able to go to Pinata and get one of the paid hosting versions, okay, there's a correlation there too. Inherently, the show will always be offered, the show will always be free, the show will always do that of what it can, okay? It's that of what is facilitated or desired to be facilitated into a, external change, a additional merit of measure or things of that nature, and or a different means or ability to interact therewith. Because believe you me, that is only necessitated and facilitated by that of the, working iterations and desirements of anyone else to be incumbent upon themselves, to be willing to allow us, okay, that of that foundational being of the lithical understanding and knowledge with which we already ascribe and ascertain ourselves to inherently be, practitioners that thereof. Ironically, it's pretty easy when good old Shyzabox invented Shyzalosophy, and that of lithic logic already existed from that of the ancients, okay? Theoretically, obviously. When we do things like venture out and tell people, go to English Heritage Foundation or Salisbury Museum and tell them get their Core 58 samples and go run the ASTM C597, I think that's the test or whatever. Oh, yeah, check our notes. Go run the test on these sarsen stones, non-destructive, non-invasive, non-anything, and see if that of lithic logic reigns supreme and that of the, 187 constant with which they afford or provide. Okay? Now, again, that of our ability right now to not be under an NDA, to not work or be beholden to at the behest of a big agency, corporation, or anything like that, we can run off in the mouth and say all these things of the lack of desire, all right, for the pivotal necessitation that's warranted for such a need, for such a 15-minute test someone could walk down the hall and literally do in 15 minutes would take. To act as a societal neuron to facilitate such a change. Because believe you me, you go run that ASTM C597 on that Core 58 sample sarsen stone from the English Heritage Foundation and or the Salisbury Museum. And you're playing with a whole new understanding of knowing inherently should one ascribe to that of what they're willing to ascribe that thereto and believe that of which foundationally inherently exists and that of their own foundation outside of the external necessitations of that of good old Shyzabox and or the utilizations of that of Shyzalosophy itself. Remember, inherently, everything's fine. What? To have that of the architectural components and capacities, okay, currently to develop, create, and disseminate that of which is necessitated and or warranted, and that of a symbiotic relationship that therewith, utilizing that of the practices of treaties for everyone to come together, okay, under the guise in the treaties, okay, not even the guise, under the necessitation and the facilitation of a treaty of all ages, for everyone to come together, work together, be together, okay? Because it is in truly learning to forgive that we're actually able to do such, okay? Now, we've struggled ourselves with forgiveness for many, many, many a degree in time. Yes, yes, even still to the current standing that thereof. Life is hard, right? The metrics and merits, okay, with which one practices and ascribes to on a day-to-day routine and basis can foundationally set forth that of what they do, okay? Everyone interprets that of their reality to that of their own subjective nature. Okay? That of their own ability to act as their own societal neuron to elicit and facilitate any changes that can be thusly deemed or to the component or aspect of being thought of to be conceptually for the better. Okay? Now, with this all being for philosophical entertainment, okay, remember, that of the usages and that therewith one comprehends and understands may be obtained and ascertainable in the seekings of that of which one may seek to find that in their own personal spiritual or personal physical enlightenment. Okay? We bridge not the gap of that of what's been bridged, okay? But what we can do is bridge the divide of that of maybe computational limits of knowledge and understanding, utilizing analytic logic. That's right. Because inherently, like we said, you can't invent what already was invented or inherently reigns supreme. Okay? But you can rediscover elements and aspects that thereof, that you can do that therewith many a marvelous thing to benefit that of all symbiotically for a treaty of all ages. Do good, be good, make everything better for one, make everything better for all, make everything better there inherently for that of yourself, right? We have a long way to go in learning of our ways and means and forgiveness and things of that nature, as surely many other individuals may claim as well. Or maybe not. Maybe everyone else is perfect in its good old Shyzabox behind the curve. The curve of understanding what is necessitated in truly being one who can forgive. Okay? Believe you me, with which between us is very, very reasonably something that can be ascertained, right, as those trying measures, okay, those tribulations, right, because therein exist many, and the metaphysical possibilities of all, with which one may have to contemplate, correlate, a deductive reasoning, okay, for the knowledge of, that of the need of forgiveness, inherently allows that of which to exist. And it is a very, very heart-wrenching at times. Now, it's nothing to laugh at. Heart-wrenching at times, thing to contemplate and consider, all right, that there's still so many strides to take in that direction and that ability to, do, okay? But as we take it upon ourselves to stride in the direction of getting some more swill, we leave that of our thoughts off for philosophical entertainment, of course, under the premise and guise of that of what we do. And as we do that of what we do, it's important that you continue existing and being as great and awesome as that of you are. No. You. That's right. Sorry, Joey was there. Gotta get him out. You take care of yourself, because there's only one you. Okay? We can't replace you. Okay? I'm sure we can create a fake account, subscribe to ourselves, but we do that all the time. Okay? It's kind of sad, actually. Take care of yourself. There's only one you. Okay? Then you look around, you take care of anyone else who needs it second. You take care of them second, because they may really need it. Okay? Then you look around the room. We're sitting in the corner. We're peddling our books and our wares. Like, hey, buy this shit. Right? Trying to get you to buy Pickled Punk Philosophy. We're over there. We're talking about Delectable and how it's so expensive you don't want to buy the physical copy of that book. Don't buy Delectable. Buy the other ones, okay? It's under that ability to see us even in that room that we appreciate you even glancing or letting us catch your eye. Believe you me, that room is very full. And when you attempt to act as a societal neuron to elicit or facilitate a change in any way, shape, or form, okay? So small impulses that are able to resonate and maybe inherently yield up that of the full torque desired or metrically after a geometric gain can be amplified to the degree and capacity that they're able to facilitate a change that is for the better. Okay? Maybe we can all work together to do good things. Maybe we can all remain steadfast idiots and inherently never bridge a reasoning ability or understanding with which is ironclad that we can foundationally base our... Yeah, I know it's backwards. We can foundationally base that of our knowledge and understanding on. So, Transmutating God, feel free to go to Amazon.com and or Kindle of the Unlimited and check that one out should you choose. Other than that, we're getting out of here. So remember, we don't want your subscription, we want your money. Downvote the shit out of this, go to Cashapp and give us a buck, or go to Amazon.com, search Shyzabox books and buy one of them. Get off our lawn!